There's something magnetic about the villain. You can feel it in the way they enter a room, slow, deliberate, a presence that doesn't demand your attention so much as it quietly consumes it. You watch them, not because you're told to, but because you want to. Even when you shouldn't. Especially when you shouldn't. The truth is, most people don't wake up dreaming of being the hero. Heroes are burdened by their own goodness. They often feel like a performance, moral, predictable, bound by To understand why villains seduce us, we have to get honest about something most people aren't willing to admit: the human mind is not built solely for goodness. It's built for survival. And survival doesn't always look noble. It doesn't look heroic. Sometimes it looks ruthless. Cold. Calculating. Quietly cruel. The villain, in all their unflinching desire and refusal to be small, gives that part of us a voice. A face. A home. We like to imagine ourselves as the hero of our own story, but we don't really live like heroes. We compromise. We lie to keep the peace. We suppress rage to keep a job. We swallow dreams to maintain stability. The hero fights for what's right. We often settle for what's safe. The villain, however, is all instinct and appetite. They don't beg the world for permission, they take. And even if we hate that, some part of us aches to feel that free. To be that unapologetic. The reason villains feel so alive is because they live on the edge of repression. They are everything we spend our lives trying to contain. When we watch them, we feel something break open in us. A release. Not because we agree with what they do, but because we recognize the emotional truth behind it. Take Michael Corleone in The Godfather. He begins as the golden son, the good one, the moral one, the clean one. And yet, it is in becoming the villain that he becomes whole. His transformation is not a descent, it's an unveiling. And when we watch that journey, we don't feel horror. We feel something closer to awe. Because deep down, we understand the moment when principle gives way to pragmatism. When love curdles into control. When survival demands blood. Or think about Walter White in Breaking Bad. A man who begins. Most people don't want to answer that question. Not honestly. That's why we disguise our attraction to villains with intellectual distance. We call them compelling characters or praise the nuances in their arc. But that's just code for something more primal. They touch something we're not supposed to touch. Something ancient. Something buried. Something real. Because the villain is not a stranger. They're not other. They are us, stripped of consequence. Us, without the mask. And that's why their power is so seductive. Not because they make evil look good, but because they make it look familiar. The villain isn't just a character. They're a mythic echo, an ancient archetype carved into the bones of every culture on Earth. They show up in every epic, every parable, every whispered story told to keep the fire going through the long winter. And maybe that's why we keep returning to them. Again and again. In every generation. In every form. Because they allow us to confront the parts of ourselves we're too polite, or too frightened, to name. They let us sit in the dark and say, there's more to me than what the light shows. They remind us that good and evil aren't opposites. They're twins, separated by fear, shaped by story, both fully human. In the end, the villain seduces not because they're monstrous, but because they're honest. Because they refuse to lie about how messy and brutal it is to want. To ache. To burn. They make room for the fire we all carry. And in watching them fall, we secretly wonder what it would feel like to rise that high, even for a moment, untethered, unrepentant, free. We don't love the villain because they destroy. We love them because they show us how much we're willing to destroy just to feel alive.